Hi everybody, and thank you for joining me today. So continuing to fill in some more of, I think, the hills to the right of the peacock's neck. We got some bigger blocks of color again today, so we should probably see some good progress. I will, as usual, point out that I did not start at 0 yet. I'm at 166, so yeah, if you see a really impressive number at the end, I didn't do them all on camera. But here we go. So yeah, it's a nicer day today. I actually went for my walk outside because I can see blue sky, which is really nice because we've had quite bad smoke for the last while. Yeah, fire season should hopefully be coming to a close as we approach October, because usually things get cold enough and we get enough rain or snow to put things out. But yeah, like I said, I won't complain too hard because I was fortunate that all we had to deal with was smoke. There was, yeah, a lot of people were not so lucky. They had to evacuate. Some places burned. So yeah, they were much worse off than we are. But yeah, like, it hasn't been fun putting up with the smoke, but at least I haven't been in any danger of losing my home. So I'm not going to complain too hard. Yeah, I know a lot of people have it worse off than we do. So yeah, my in-laws said in BC it's been pretty bad for them too. Well, I know Kelowna, BC had to be evacuated for a bit. It was, yeah, oh, goodness. Those are not smooth. There. Smooth them out from the other side. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to check this other one that's already parked there and see how long it is. Got a bit of a tangle here, but got it undone. Okay, this one is not too long. I think I'm actually going to tie this other one here off. I've got more threads here than I really need, so yeah. I don't feel like carrying all of them so close together, so I'm just gonna tie one off, use it later. Yeah, so I get to see the ear, nose, throat specialist later this week about my ear, but probably we're just going to leave it to continue healing on its own. It's gotten so much better. Yeah, I rarely hear it anymore. It's very, very quiet now. So, and yeah, as the audiologist said, sometimes depending where exactly the ear infection was, what part of the ear, it can take even a few months to completely recover. And as it is getting better, I don't think I want to mess with surgery or anything if it's not necessary. Yeah. Yeah, because it wasn't fun. Yeah, getting back into the regular routine. Kiddo going to school. Sometimes hanging out at the youth center. He likes it there, so yeah, now he can drive himself. I don't even have to really leave the house as much. I mean, I do to go walking. I actually fell out of the habit for a while, and I realized I really need to keep that up. I do need the exercise, and I do notice the difference in the quality of my sleep when I skip it. Yeah, even just 20-minute walk seems to make enough of a difference. So yeah, I really need to get back into the habit of doing that. Especially want to get in as many outside walks now as I can before it gets too cold to do that. Yeah, before we know it, it's going to be freezing. I think we had our last blast of heat, and that's it. Yeah, I always say year-round fall would be my jam. I don't really like the extremes of summer or winter. Spring is nice because it means winter's finally over, but yeah, autumn has to be my favorite because just a little bit of a chill in the air, just enough to wear a sweater or a jacket outside and not get too hot and sweaty, but not freezing cold. You don't have to bundle up to go outside. So yeah, soon we're going to get to the garden wall again, which I'm kind of looking forward to. Some different colors after all this sky, pale sky here. I can't wait to get back to the peacock. Yeah, the vibrant colors are my favorite. Okay, and I'm just going to, again, I got 2 threads here. See how long that one is. Yeah, they're both fairly long, so again, I don't really need 2 anymore here. There was more scattered stitches over here, so that's why I had 2, but I think I can go down to 1 now. So that is what I'll do. I'll try not to tie knots in it first, because that's no good. Okay. Right, and I have 2 threads of this sort of coming from each side of this big long row of this color. So I decided to keep 1 here to do these sort of spaced apart ones, and the other one will come from the other side. They kind of meet each other in the middle there. Yeah, sort of not how you have to stitch it. That's just the way I do it. Yeah, so it was funny the other day. My husband had to be on a Zoom meeting for the ham radio club. They started doing that during lockdown, and yeah, people don't really want to have to go to a rented room anymore. It's just easier to do it online. So anyway, he was on his Zoom call and I was in the next room and watching Supernatural, and it was a really funny episode. Oh my gosh. It was one where it was like, it reminded me of an old Dick Van Dyke Show episode. I remember when sort of they get into an argument and then they're relating it to their friends, but of course each person, when they tell it from their point of view, paints the other person as completely at fault, and they were just like, perfect and everything. And so this was similar, the 2 brothers telling things completely differently. And oh my gosh, I laughed through the whole thing, just busting a gut. And so then after the meeting was over, he comes, he said, "What the heck were you watching?" I said, "Supernatural. Nobody told me how funny this show can be." Because yeah, like I said, I love the chemistry between the brothers is really well done. Anyone who's grown up with a sibling will be familiar with that dynamic. Oh, goodness. Yeah, like there's one where Dean is telling it from his point of view, and that halfway through, Sam just starts literally saying blah, 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 blah. And he says, "That's not what I said." Dean says, "Well, that's what you sounded like to me," And then there's one where they're telling it and Dean's just like totally stuffing his face. He's got like, hamster cheeks or whatever. And then you hear him complain, "Dude, I ate like 2, I wasn't pigging out like that." But that's how his brother tells it, Oh yeah, it was really funny. Ugh. Apparently they said it was kind of an homage to the X-Files, where every now and then they would have a really funny episode to sort of break up the tension of the very serious stuff. So yeah, I enjoy those. It was kind of like on Deep Space Nine in the last season. They have one called "Take Me Out to the Holosuite," which is a baseball episode. They play baseball. And it's, right as the wrap-up of the whole Dominion War. And people are like, "Oh, this is, do I really want to watch this? It's so silly." But I said, you know what, though? That breakup of the tension can be exactly what you need. Because, the Dominion War is a pretty heavy storyline. So, yeah, I liked it. It's kind of nice to have a palate cleanser like that. And somebody said, "Oh, I don't really like baseball. Will I enjoy it?" I said, "Well, the show's about baseball, but it's not." Yeah, it's more about the, you know, the relationships of the characters. So yeah, I enjoyed it. But I bet these days when you have only 10 episode seasons, you wouldn't see anything like that now. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I have to kind of cut this off somewhere as it's quite a large swath. So I could have decided to follow the curve of this hill, or I can cut it off and sort of cut diagonally through it. So I haven't quite decided, but I think I'm going to cut diagonally through it for now. I may change it up as I stitch. Sometimes I change my mind, so we shall see. Yeah, I kind of like discovering shows when they're completed because then you can just binge your way through them. Yeah. Yeah, it was funny because somebody said her dad said, I don't understand why you binge watch shows. You wouldn't read a book in one day. And I'm like, yeah, I would. I've done that many times. Ugh. Although I have to say, it has been a while since I had a book that was, you know, unput downable. Yeah. I rate books on Goodreads and I'm very picky. Very few of them make it to 5 stars, and very few books are at the point where it's like I have to stay up late reading it. I can't remember. The last time that happened was, I think years ago. Yeah. Yeah, I believe it might even been as far back as 2015. It was Scandal of the Year by Laura Lee Gerke. I hope I'm saying her name correctly. I've never heard it pronounced, just seen it written. So, but yeah, I stayed up way past my bedtime to finish that, and it made me cry so hard. It was so good. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a huge historical romance fan, and yeah, it was a heavier one, though, I have to say. You know, I often read it for escapism, and that was the subject matter was, like, I'm not going to spoil it in case anyone wants to check it out, but yeah, it wasn't a lighthearted read, that's for sure, which is, of course, why I cried so hard. Yeah, it was one of those books that, again, made me go, okay, I love reading about historical times, but I'm sure glad I don't live in it. Yeah. Ooh. Oh, pardon me. Yeah, didn't sleep very well. Haven't been for the last few nights. I think it's also because getting up early to get kiddo off to school. I mean, he drives himself now, but I still like to, you know, get up with him, make sure he actually eats a proper breakfast because, yeah, he sometimes doesn't really, he's too busy on his phone, so you gotta sort of keep him on task. So, yeah. I was telling him, you know, you're growing, you gotta make sure you eat enough because you want to reach your full proper adult height. If you don't eat enough, you might not. So, and stay healthy. Yeah, like I just said, I feel like one of the only parents of a teenage boy who has to worry he's not eating enough. It's usually the opposite. They want to eat everything in sight. That's how I was when I was his age. I was a bottomless pit. Ugh. Okay, so yeah. Stitching almost more like in a row style than so much a diagonal style. That's just sort of the way these colors sort of flow, so I just follow them. Okay. Yeah, I have another one parked here, but I think I remember from working with it earlier. It's not very long, so it'll probably run out, and I would have needed to add another thread anyway, so it just made sense to add another one and work my way in from the side. Okay. Yeah. carry on this way for a while. Yeah, this one is going to run out soon. I think I will actually cross as I go this time so that the thread ends up on the other side. Okay, so I may actually work from this side out for a bit, because this may be where I sort of decide to cut this off. We'll see. Or I may cut off over this way. Just sort of depends. Okay, so I did that one. That one is definitely out. Okay, so I think, yeah, I'm going to just cut this off here for now. A whole bunch of this color to do. There we go. Tried to pull a thread and I accidentally pulled two at once. That didn't work. So when I cut things off sort of in the middle of a big color block, I stagger this line, so I go sometimes one stitch, then two stitches, then work even. Yeah, I don't always go one stitch less each row, because I worry that would be more likely to show a line, so I stagger it a bit, just in case. There's a knot there. Yep, I could feel when I pulled it, it was suddenly about a ½ inch shorter than it was, and it does not want to come apart easily. Let's see if I can pick it apart here. There we go. Good. I was hoping I wouldn't have to cut it out, because that's always annoying. pretty excited. The season 2 of the Wheel of Time is coming out. Although we're watching something else, we're going to wait till the whole season's out and then we can binge the whole thing as usual. Yeah. Yeah, I also bought 1923 on DVD, which is like a Yellowstone prequel. They did 1883. So then this one I think is like the next generation of Duttons. We really enjoyed 1883. It was so good. Yeah. So we're hoping this one is good too. This one has some bigger names in it. Harrison Ford is in it. Helen Mirren. So we'll get to it. Yeah, so many shows and not enough time. We're in a golden age of television, that's for sure. Yeah, so here I'm going to go 1 stitch less the next row. So mark those as done. And then the next one I'll probably go 2 stitches less. And then, so like I said, I keep it uneven so that it doesn't hopefully create a tension line. Hopefully it won't create the tension line, I mean, of course. Sometimes a little bored stitching these bigger blocks, but I do like how fast it goes. So I started practicing piano again. I hadn't played in a while, and my mother-in-law wanted me to play for her, but so I played the piece I play the most, but yeah, I have to say it was full of mistakes. So it kind of made me say, I guess I should practice up again for a while. Yeah, it's funny, I filmed myself and discovered that my pinky fingers look funny when I play. It gets like bent like this. Probably because my hands are not very big. Doing octave chords is tough for me. Yeah, apparently I heard there was one lady who actually had a piano custom made for her that was slightly, every key was slightly thinner than the width of a normal key so that she could play. But I'm thinking, did that take some time getting used to then, right? Because a muscle memory would have your hands for how a standard keyboard feels. So yeah, kind of interesting. I saw one somebody showed, and they made a piano with only white keys. There were no black keys, so they were all whole notes. And I just thought, how would you know where to place your hands without the black keys to sort of give you a guide? Because I mean, that's certainly how I find my way. Yeah. Plus, I don't know. Stuff in minor key is my favorite, so I don't think I'd want a piano that was only whole notes. You need the semitones. Oh, that was wrong. Yeah, I pierced that incorrectly. I did play the flute in high school, but it's been a long time since I touched it. I can't even remember how to form half the notes. I'd have to start all over again. Hate that. The eye of the needle kind of pierced through the thread there. So I'm going to tie this one off here for sure. It's close to the end, and once it gets where the eye of the needle has sort of split the thread a bit, it gets really fuzzy in that place, and yeah, I just don't want that to transfer itself to my finished piece, having fuzzy, worn out threads on it. Not the look I'm going for. A few more colors here in this bit. Yeah, so this is my cutoff here. That's line 140. That's where I'm cutting off this horizontal pass. And then I think, yeah, the next horizontal pass we will be getting his chest, and we'll be getting into the very top of his tail feathers. So my favorite part, that's for sure. Yeah, looking forward to that. So this thread is actually a bit longer than I thought. That's okay, I don't really mind. I'll have leftover bits, but I will use them up, so no big deal. Actually, I can do, yeah, these three here. Quite twisted. Just gonna try and coax it. There. Just kind of coax them to lie side by side instead of twisted around each other. Yeah, I used to railroad, but I fell out of the habit, so I find it's a little faster to just sort of fix the occasional one that's twisted. So yeah, I did it for a while, but I kind of fell out of the habit, so I tried a laying tool as well, but yeah, it wasn't for me. Don't leave. There we go. That's better. $18.88 completed. Yeah, I don't think I'll hit 19% today, but that means I will probably hit it tomorrow. I'm hoping for 21% total by the end of September. We will see. I think it's about 61,000. So I should think that's doable. But yeah, I want to try and get some more work done on Firefly as well. I got barely any done last month due to having a family visit and then my apple harvest, so okay, so switch to this other thread. Yeah, these are both, yeah, so I don't think I'll use either of them up. They'll both be left with leftover bits, but that's okay. With these big patterns and there still being over 1,000 stitches of this color in this pattern, I will definitely find places to use them. It won't be a problem. So I'm gonna tie off this one here. Yeah. Yeah, I also try to kind of alternate doing huge long rows and then doing a bit of confetti, and then I find I get less chance of getting sore from overdoing the same motion. Ooh. Oh, pardon me. Okay, so 3840. Okay, I may actually, instead of coming from the right side, I think I'm going to stitch outwards. Yeah, because of where I want my thread to end up. This will hopefully keep me from having to add too many. Then if I came from the other side, parked it over there, I'd have to start another one down here. This way I can park it down here. Oh my goodness. Getting myself all mixed up there. There we go. Try to pull all these threads out of my way there. Yeah, so it was a nice day for walking, but I needed my jacket, that's for sure. I almost needed my earmuffs too. Yeah, my ears get really sensitive to the cold. Earbuds don't really provide that much protection, so I have to wear earmuffs on top. Oh, I feel a little bump. Yeah, there's a little flaw or something in this thread. Bit of a weird. It's really small, so I don't think I really have to worry about it showing. But I could feel it as I pulled it through the fabric. Just gave the tiniest little bit of resistance that I could feel it. And popping through there. So we're past 300, but like I said, I was more than halfway to 300 when I started this session, so it's impressive, but it wasn't quite that impressive. This is one, yeah, I'm gonna put in my tray now. Rats. Wrapped it around my finger there, so I unthreaded my needle. It's got tangled on itself here. There we go. Let's see how long this one is. It is a long one. Okay, so I'm going to fill in this stuff first so I can carry that one up rather than adding another color, or another strand, I should say, of that color. wasn't as long as I thought it was. All that so that I could do these with the same strand. Yeah, if there had been more stitches sort of below to park, I might have just carried this strand this way and started a new one, but since it's not, yeah, I'm gonna just carry this one upwards instead of downwards. So some bigger blocks, but this area here is a bit more color changes. That won't work. Yeah, come on. Oh my gosh. I tell ya, that end is just, yeah, it's being bratty. There we go. Like, it wasn't a knot, but it didn't want to smooth out either. same thread again doing that. Why are you being like that? Weird. Must have a kink in it or something. Makes it prone to catching in that same spot. Something like that. Yeah, so finally got our digital photo frame set up. Bought it months ago, and then it just kind of sat in the box because I was too lazy to do it. My husband finally did it. Yeah. Putting a bunch of photos on there, so eventually he says we'll move all the smaller photos from the living room. They can go in the hallway so that I have more space to hang my my cross-stitch pieces. So yeah. That means I also need to finally get around to digitizing a bunch of our photos because, yeah, when we got married, film was still the standard. Things didn't start going digital for a few more years, so we've got quite a lot of negatives, and they're in a fireproof box, but yeah, I will feel a little more secure when they're digitized and backed up on a cloud somewhere so that, yeah, if anything ever happened to the originals, we would still have them. Yeah, I have some of our photos, but they were like scans people took and not as good as what you get from scanning it from the actual negatives. So yeah, just sort of, it's one of those things I intend to get around to it. I just haven't yet. Well, I have to buy the scanner first. So yeah, there used to be places you could take your negatives in to get them scanned, but around here there isn't really much anymore. So yeah, and I remember there was a guy in there asking if they could digitize his old VHS tapes. He had some, you know, home videos on camcorder that he made with his camcorder, and yeah, they didn't do that anymore either. He said you'll have to go buy or rent a machine somewhere to do that, which is another thing really got to do because those things do dry out and degrade, right? So yeah. Yeah, things like our wedding video, they're not really replaceable, so one thing that kind of sucked was it was filmed on those old 8mm ones. They look like a miniature VHS, and they only held about a half hour's worth of tape, so yeah, unfortunately it would keep cutting out and they'd have to change tapes, so parts got missed, but oh well. What you gonna do? We got our memories at least, right? Yeah. Yeah, I look back on those and say, man, we were babies. We were so young. Yeah. I was 20 and he was 25, so yeah. We were super young. It's like I look at my kid at 16 and I feel like I was more older than you when I was 16. I mean, if that makes any sense, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe everybody feels that way about their kids, that they were more mature at 16 than their kid was. I don't know. across these as I go. So yeah, I kind of mix it up, just depending on where I want the thread to travel. It's not always perfectly consistent, but I don't worry about the back of my work. I will show it to people, but in the end, yeah, no one's going to see it. Although there was one person who said they framed theirs with clear glass on the back of their work so you could actually see it, which is like, that's kind of cool. I guess if you've worked really hard on keeping a neat back, I could understand why you'd want to do that, so you could show it off. Yeah, I see my backs they're not horribly messy, but I mean, I have seen neater. But I'm not really that concerned about it. How the front looks is what I care about. I think I can squeak out 4 stitches from that thread, so that is what I'm going to do. At first, I'm going to work my way out from the left corner again. Right, so I think I decided I was gonna, yeah, diverge here and have 2 threads for this color. Let's see, actually, I may not. Just trying to plan ahead here. I think what I might do is actually go back up here and do these 2. Yeah, this way I can avoid leaving gaps or closing anything in. Then I'm going to park this right here. Yes, even though there was kind of two paths with that color, I was still able to do it with one thread. Yeah, I often say this is like doing a puzzle, which I do enjoy. Although I haven't done a physical puzzle in quite a long time. Yeah. It's mostly digital now. Ugh. Although these days when I decide to play a puzzle game, it's probably more like a nonogram or Sudoku or something. Good brain exercise. Oh, look at that, 400. Although, like I said, I started at 166, but still, that's a pretty good number. I won't complain about that. Needles are magnetized and sticking together. It's funny, when I was a kid, I tried doing that. They said, you know, you can make your own magnet from a needle by, you know, scratching it along a magnet for like 100 times in the same direction. I don't know. It never seemed to work for me. And now when I'm not trying to magnetize my needles, yeah, they've become magnetized, so go figure. I'm just gonna take a peek. Yeah, all right. Okay. I think this piece is starting to run out. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'll do. Then I'll start a new strand from over here. Yeah. Okay. Oh, we passed 58,000. So yeah. So looking good to reach 61 by the end of September. We shall see. Okay, so I think I'm gonna take a break pretty soon. I think I'll just work my way down to this line 140 here. And then I think that's gonna be it for a bit. I need to get up and move around for a bit. Been sitting for too long. Yeah, because then to do the next bit, I'm gonna have to go up to the top again, I think. That seems like a good place to break here, so I'm just gonna finish up this strand. It's not very long, so. Before I tie that off, make sure it's not all twisted funny. Okay, so 440, but like I said, I didn't start at 0. I started at 166, but you know, that's still over 200 stitches done this session, so I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, we got all this sort of filled in, so made some great progress. So anyway, as usual, thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you here again another time. All right, thanks everyone. Bye.